What's going on, guys? I am K Mills, and it is my plum pleasing pleasure to report live and direct from Steno in the City, right here in Houston, Texas. Now, today is a star-studded event because we are highlighting stenographers from all over the country. We're talking about the importance that they play in the legal profession, and we're gonna get some more info on that tonight. So be sure you stay tuned. As promised, we're talking to all of the movers and shakers in the city, and we can't talk about this star-studded event without highlighting Miss Shanice J. How are you today?
Hello, hey Houston, what's up?
Everything is up. First of all, we have to acknowledge that you have done such an amazing job with this event today. Steno in the City. This is the first annual, right?
Yes. Actually, this is our second networking event, but our first conference.
How's it going?
So far, so good.
Let me tell you, she's being humble because the turnout has been fantastic. Okay, so let us know a little bit about you, your background.
So I am Shanice, founder of Steno in the City. I have a podcast, Confessions of a Stenographer. We just hit 25,000 downplays, and that's good for our industry. We were just featured on a top business podcast for just doing a great job. So, and then just spreading the word. And my whole thing is, let's promote who we are and what we do. A lot of people don't know what stenographers are, or they think court reporters are going to disappear, but I'm here to say that we're not going anywhere. We're just getting started.
As promised, we are coming live and direct from Steno in the City. I'm Kay Mills, and I have a very distinguished guest speaking with us today, Judge Carlos Moore. How are you?
I'm great.
First of all, what a pleasure to have you here. For those of you who don't know, Judge Moore is actually the president of the National Bar Association. It's kind of a big deal, okay? So, Steno in the City, obviously, we're referencing stenographers and the importance of what they do. And with you, I think you say you've been practicing for 20 years. You're dating yourself. What can you say to speak on that?
Yeah, stenographers, court reporters play a vital role in the legal profession. Sometimes you have hidden figures that don't get the acclaim as the lawyers get. We out front, but the stenographers play a critical part in the pursuit of justice. And so I had to stop by while I was in Houston for the National Bar Association's 42nd Annual Mid-Year Conference. I was happy to get the invitation and had to stop by and congratulate them on a job well done. In my 20 years of practice, I've never had a bad court reporter. They are very professional and do a yeoman's job day in, day out. They need to get more acclaim.
As promised, we are talking to all the movers and shakers here in the city. At Steno in the City, we have attorney Derek Reed. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Living the dream. Happy to be here. First of all, this is an amazing event. So if you aren't here this year, make sure you make your way back next year. Something you don't want to miss. Speaking of Steno in the City, we're talking about the importance of stenography, right? And you as an attorney, how long have you been practicing?
For 15 years now.
Longer than a little bit. Can you give us an instance where you can speak on like how vital stenographers are in your profession?
So I mentioned I started off as a Harris County District Attorney. I did that for 4 years. We pretty much have a trial almost once a month, I guess, on average. At any rate, one of my first trials, the stenographer was actually instrumental in me going back and asking the defendant a question that I had factually forgotten about. And so she reminded me that there were bottles in the back of a car, which led me to a guilty verdict. And so stenographers are so crucial just in our profession in general. Now, that's on the criminal side. I practice civil law now, and I have been for the past 10 years. And so, from the civil side in depositions, there would be no way that we would be able to settle our cases without an accurate record, and an accurate record that's provided by the stenographer. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars. So stenographers are incredibly key in all aspects of the legal profession.
the city if we don't talk to any stenographers. I have a very special guest. I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Hicks. I am an official reporter in New York City, and I also go by Mia's Mom on Instagram. You may follow me. If you don't, you should follow me. So that's me.
So, for reporting in New York, you came all the way from New York City to be with us today. Can you let us know how long you've been in the profession?
So I started in 2013, freelance for a few years, worked in the grand jury for a year, and now I'm in a Supreme Court. Actually, in lower court, I got promoted. Congratulations, thank you. So I will definitely be retiring from Supreme Court. Come visit me, not as a defendant though. So come visit me.
We couldn't conclude the evening without talking to one of our special guests. We have Miss Stacey Race in the building.
Hey, it is pretty.
Okay.
You got it right.
Got it right on the first try. Okay, so this is actually one of our guests of honor today. You are a stenographer, correct?
I am. Yes, indeed.
Okay, so how long have you been practicing?
It is going on a quarter century, almost 25 years.
We don't believe it. We don't believe it.
25 years.
So it must be something you love.
Of course.
How'd you get into becoming a reporter?
Actually, the long and short of the story is that my sister, who is 11 years my senior, is also a voice.
Okay. Keeping it in the family.
Right, it's in the family. The lineage runs deep. But I remember being a 12-year-old kid, and my sister, like I said, is 11 years older. And back in the day, she had a 1985 cherry red Honda Prelude.
Okay.
With the T-tops and the stick shift, and that was the car back in the day.
Okay.
And I remember being a kid and like simulating like I was driving her car, like I was shifting the gear.
It's gonna be me.
Right. And I remember saying, I don't know what my sister does, but I know she makes a lot of money.
Okay.
And whatever that is, I want to do it.
As I mentioned earlier, today is a star-studded event. It is my plum-pleasing pleasure to introduce the distinguished honorable Judge Linda Johnson. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
I must say it's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for taking the time to drop in Steno in the city. Now, I know personally you've been practicing for 20 years now.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
How do you feel about stenography? How has it played a role in what you do, even as a judge?
For me, it's very important because the rulings that I make are subject to appellate review. And so it's very important to me that I have someone there who knows how to listen to the work of the testimony and how to record it and present an accurate record to the appellate courts. Because they can have a great bearing on whether my decisions are reversed or they're affirmed. So it's very, very important.
Two, one, go.
In conclusion, Steno in the City was definitely an event of the year. If you didn't make it this year, we hope to see you next year. We're talking about stenographers from all over the country. We had the president of the Bar Association. We had attorneys from all over, and even judges. Star-studded event. We hope to see you next year. This is K Mills signing out.